Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? From the depths of the dungeons to the tavern brawls, save the king, killed a giant. We've been through it all. I could fill up a tome, but you're not coming home. Well, we all saw it happen. We're the ones you saved. Gonna light you a candle, gonna tell your tale by the light of the moon. We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil is okay. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Our adventures together went to hell and back. Spent the days slaying dragons and escaping traps, but massive damage is done. Now you're really gone. But we'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil is okay. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil is okay. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? From the depths of the dungeons to the tavern brawls, save the king, killed a giant. We've been through it all. I could fill up a tome, but you're not coming home. Well, we all saw it happen. We're the ones you saved. Gonna light you a candle, gonna tell your tale by the light of the moon. We'll remember you, dying to hear. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Our adventures together went to hell and back. Spent the day slaying dragons and escaping traps, but massive damage is done. Now you're really gone. But we'll remember you, dying to hear. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? We'll remember you, dying to hear. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Hit us all when you cast your fireball, 'cause you didn't pay right to the arcane power you wield. kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would dare threaten me?
Dragon can fall, we'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall, your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall, you are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who dare threaten you.
We have no fear of your ancient power. Your breath of fire will not make us cower. We're here to tell you that the spells are cast. You will not last the night.
You are the fools who will now feel my wrath.
Dragon can fall, we'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall, your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall, you are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who now will fight back.
Quick, grab the magic bow. I'll distract him. You'll never defeat me, dragon.
Prepare to meet your doom.
Dragon can fall. We slayed him with our mighty swords. Dragon can fall. His heart will now be ours. Dragon can fall. He was the beast we're training for.
We are the party who claim victory.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours. I think we might have to reschedule because the Discord outage has made it really hard for most people to be able to tune in. I think mainly because usually they would get notified of when this is happening. There's so much I want to cover, but stupid old Discord, a little Cloudflare outage. So maybe we'll make this kind of a quick one, and maybe we'll reschedule for next week or later today if Discord comes back out. But maybe we'll hang out here for a half hour. Maybe Discord will come back on. It's a continual failed update on my side. Wish someone could code up an app, but I mean, Discord is a pretty powerful app. It's not that it's I guess I mean, it is very hard to build infrastructure like that, right? It is very hard, not an easy task. But SB Nagel 16, usually somewhere between 50 to 100 is our normal kind of cadence for viewership, which is good because There we go, fixed. Apparently it was dead. So they tried to silence me. Sorry, it was the FBI. They knew I had secrets. So we'll do some kind of quick ones today, but I don't want to do my kind of big updates because I feel like I'll get like a lot of the same questions, and then I'll just want to like have to communicate them again in the future office hours. So first, let's see. Let's talk about some events coming up. Let's talk about some events. There are. Hold on a second. Actually, I can't because I'm plugged in now. So, you know, starter set boxes that that are like the $20, $30 box that has like everything you need to learn the game. D&D has one. Call of Cthulhu has one. Tons of systems are putting them out now. We are partnering up with 3 to 4 different systems. We are still working with it, so I can't say which systems. Free League does do a good job of them. They do. A wink. And we will be having a very cool like branded inserts about StartPlaying that kind of give you like a discount or a free game on StartPlaying or things like that to people with starter who purchase starter sets. So this is kind of a new promo that we're testing out. We're really excited about. Is Discord back? Is Discord back? Let's see. No, not back for me. Oh, let's see if it finally loads. I'm still on the update failed. Retrying in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nope, still failed. Let's see. Let me just open it up again. Discord. Nope. Discord's still down. Yeah, still down according to their website. So, lame. All right. Yeah, it's like rolling black is where you are. Great point, Ace. So yeah, we're doing some really cool stuff with starter sets and actual retail in-person promotions. And when I say in-person promotions, like retail is like in-person retail where we're having inserts into retail boxes. So people who are buying, and we think that there's a really good opportunity, especially in the starter set box purchase. People who are buying starter set boxes haven't committed to the whole thing. We think also starter set boxes are often gifts. And we think that there's a high likelihood that these folks are going to want to learn from a pro GM and that they're highly likely interested in playing with a pro GM. And we think there's certain games that this would be successful with. For example, if you are, maybe you like the game Invincible, or you get one for Invincible, which is a new game coming out by Free League. We think Free League is a really we think Invincible is a really powerful game that maybe promos like this would work for, versus something like Call of Cthulhu. Because Call of Cthulhu, you're probably already in the hobby, you probably already know how to play games, you're probably not as interested to get a pro GM to play with. But maybe things like Cosmere, things like Daggerheart, things like these games where they have this, either critters or Sanderites or Sandersonites or Sandersfans. I don't know what you call them. Cosmonars. What do you call fans of Cosmere, the books, or Brandon Sanderson? Fans of Invincible. These kind of IPs that have like these really bright fandoms. We think that these fandoms and the people that belong to them would be very interested to like learn these games, but are maybe a little too overwhelmed to play them themselves. And so it's kind of like this, we'd seen very early on when we were doing the user testing, we had a bunch of new people come to the site and we asked them, go ahead, what kind of game are you looking to book? And a lot of them came to the site like, oh, I want to play D&D. And I remember exactly one person booking an Avatar game, and they weren't really thinking that Avatar was a different game system than D&D. They just like, oh, I know Avatar. This sounds fun. And they booked via IP, not the system. They didn't even know that Avatar Legends was a game system. They just like, oh, I know Avatar. That looks fun. So they booked that. And so I think there's a lot of power in IP with these kind of starter set boxes. Cosboys, that's what they're called. I like it. Okay. Let's see. We are still working, and we've started a lot of the work on the the player bounties. Player bounties is really exciting. Player bounties is where you, a player, not you, the GM, but a player can say, hey, I don't see the game I want on the site. I want to play Cypher. And I don't see a Cypher game on the site. Or actually, I want to play Triangle Agency. And I want to play Triangle Agency, but I don't see anyone running this. So I can go to the bounty board as a player, and I can say, hey, I would like to play Triangle Agency. I would like to play it on Tuesdays at 7, and I want to play with a GM who's going to really follow the rules. I want to play with a GM who is going to use Roll20 as the VTT. Very much kind of like the starter set or the Learn to Play quiz, right? Like the traditional Learn to Play bounties. But the player can put a lot of specifics into the request. Now, that then goes to the bounty board. GMs can see that on the bounty board, and they can essentially submit bids. Now, a bid doesn't actually infer anything around price, because the player will submit a price that they are willing to pay with a floor of $25. So a player has to pick $25 or more per player for whatever game they're looking for. So the player also might have, friends already. So it also says like, hey, are you looking to make friends, or do you already have a group? So it's this form that they have to fill out. So they have to essentially say like, oh, I think this is $30 per person. The GM will see this, and what you do as the GM is say, cool, I'll run this for $30, and I'll recruit for it as well. So you're not agreeing to run the game for one person. You're agreeing to essentially like, yeah, this sounds fun. I'll recruit this, or I'll run it for you and your friends if they already have a group. So it's kind of like the other side of the coin, right? There's this side where supply doesn't meet the demand, and this is where only 3 of these bids can show up, and the player can kind of choose between them. This is kind of a great test that we'll be pushing out probably June or July. The campaigns are one-shots, both. Do starter set game listings for bounty boards get priority in being approved? Basically, I've seen few bounties on games I don't have listings for, but I can make one. I just need it approved. They do not get priority. They're in the same list. So you would have to still go through the regular approval process. But the big thing is, if there are games, a lot of the GMs who are on the bounty board and there's games that they like to run, they've already made their template. So they have a template ready. So when they see a game come through, they just go ahead and they just use that template. So that's what I'd recommend for you, Ace, is if there is a game that you're really excited to run, go ahead and make that template. Other times, like I think Keenan or Kanan, they claimed Triangle Agency the other day. No one else. It was more of an obscure game. It's as far as all games that have a Learn to Play quiz, it's the last, third to last. So he spent 6 hours. It was sitting on the bounty board, and then he claimed it because he made a Learn to Play template, and that got approved. So sometimes you can go and make the template because it's a more obscure system. Let's see. Kids games. We can talk about kids games. Kids games are expensive. Kids games are going to be really expensive. Kids games are going to have a minimum price of $25 a game, mainly because it's going to cost StartPlaying, around $15 to like $30 average just in technology cost per session in recording and storage, because one of the compliance things is we have to record every session. We have to store these sessions in case a parent wants to like follow up, like, hey, what happened in this game, safety concerns, things like that. But they also have to be stored in a way that like only people that should be able to have access to this can request access to it, so no one else can retrieve it, and that no one else in the company can like just go and get access to these. Only the people that are allowed to have access. So there's a lot of compliance around it. So that makes every session 5x more expensive than what sessions cost currently on StartPlaying as far as tech. So that's definitely going to change the take rate for kids games, which is going to be separate from our core. And it's also going to require that like the minimum cost of a kids game on StartPlaying is going to be $25. Additionally, and that's for like a 2 to 3 hour game. Additionally, what is it? We are looking into essentially if you are running games for kids, if someone skips, the GM is still going to. We're trying to figure out how to make this work. We're going through the paperwork of it to make sure the GM is still paid for that session. So if you, as a parent, sign your kid up for a bunch of games, and you can't make one, essentially you, the GM, when you are running games for kids, you should be listing out all sessions. You don't have like the core site where you're just ongoing campaign. You should say like this is gonna be a 12 session campaign. This is gonna be 8 session campaign. When parents sign up for it, they're kind of agreeing that they're gonna pay for all sessions. That's kind of the difference in kids products where, like music classes, you don't pay per class, you pay for the entire experience. So for the entire, which is different from a lot of adult experiences. A lot of adult experiences is a bit different, right? But for kids experiences, it's a much different. So it'll probably be, and we're looking in to make sure that we can do this right, but you, the GM, if you have 4 kids, one's gonna be missing, you can still run with the other 3 kids, but you're still gonna be collecting payment for 4. So yeah, like summer camp. And so we're making a lot of changes to make sure that, along with the added increased cost of what it's gonna take for us to be running the tech side, that when kids miss, the GM is still earning that because we wanna make sure that it's also really viable for GMs. On top of it, the background checks, we don't want to charge GMs the full amount to do a background check. When we first start out, we're going to be paying for the first beta users of background checks as we make sure to see if this is going to be viable. And then we're going to do a subsidy for most background checks. That means that like right now, the background check that we're going to be doing costs close to $200 because it is like 12 different things that we're doing. We want to be as thorough as possible with all of the people who, like I said, we want to be good stewards for kids games. So it's going to be very expensive on our side as the upstart cost, but we don't want to pass like a $200 cost onto GMs. That's so much. So it's probably going to be something more like down the road. This is like, 6 months later, right? When GMs apply, it's going to be like a $49 background check. And mind you, this could change, but it could be something like $49. And then after you've run 10 games, you get that $49 back because you've shown that like you're actually going to run games on the platform. But it's really hard to pay that cost up front and then have people not use the platform. So that's a really tough thing that we're trying to work around is paying that $200 and then making sure that whoever we have on the platform on the kids side is going to be running great games. Let's see. We have Dream. Sleepy says, how would we get those submitted? You wouldn't. The application is not open yet. Jim asks, is it possible to have on all game? Is it possible to have on all game? Is it possible to have on all game? Is that possible to have? No. We actually tried this very early on, and it just wasn't successful in the core product of adults. What we realized very early on is the way most adults are looking at their service and their entertainment is much different than how people treat kids products. We did a lot of research on kids products and kids spending, and it's so much different than how people treat their own spending, their own adult spending. Will we have an event for Neon Odyssey? Maybe. I did reach out to one of my contacts that over, not directly at Evantris, because I didn't want to go in blind, because I think I have one of their emails, but I didn't want to just go so cold. So I essentially went up to, I think, their agent, and I was like, hey, do you want to see if they'd be interested in this, back channel it, and then if so, connect us. So I told them, like, hey, I think this would be cool. So I shot a line, and we'll see what they say. Oh, Nina, Cypher 2 did reach out, and I'm just waiting for them to schedule if they want to have an event. Let's see. Is Discord's still down? Okay. Daggerheart, Invincible, Mistborn, Dungeon Crawler Carl. I think a lot of you already know about Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's happening. Really excited about that. Let's see. We're going to be doing some of Mistborn. That's exciting. That's still in the works. Daggerheart's birthday is happening. If you filled out that form, if you haven't filled out that form, you still can. It's on Discord when Discord eventually comes back up working. Let's see what else. Okay. New merch. Can't talk about that yet. Player-driven bounties. Okay. And then we talked a lot about okay, cool. I guess we can just talk about Top GM now, unless there's any other questions between now and then. Let's see. I think that's about it that I wanted to cover here. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Pull this up. Pull up chat. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I said I'm just waiting for Cypher 2 to reach back out when they want to schedule their event. Start playing. All right, and then we go to style. Gonna go ahead and put this in chat. There actually is this portal right here. Play by Post hasn't seen any growth in the past 6 months as far as player volume compared with the rest of the site. So that's one of the reasons why we haven't prioritized any more product work into Play by Post. We are keeping an eye on it as we see, because adding things like this, adding things like the playstyle, number of this other work. We haven't seen, what we have seen is we've seen refunds go down by some of the changes we made because less people are booking in them mistakenly because they didn't understand what play-by-post was. So we've made play-by-post a more stable, but we're not seeing growth out of it. So once we do, we're absolutely going to be prioritizing more play-by-post stuff. If you go to that link and you say see more adventures, goes to a den link. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. That's a bug. Good find. I'll go ahead and log that later today. It's partially maybe because of how Playboys got listed, I think. Well, yeah, how it got listed caused a lot of people to book into play-by-post games unknowingly how they worked because they showed up along other games. And so we had this huge refund rate, this huge dropout rate. And removing that, we saw this huge uptick in retention. And so that's how we knew we made the right choice in how we listed them and making sure that people had to, by design, choose this is what I want to play. I'm choosing play-by-post. And so that's why we created a scenario filter for it. That's why we created the actual landing page for it. So people can actually navigate by design. You actually don't need to click several times. If you're just regular on search, there is a big play-by-post button that all you gotta do is click that button on search. It is a scenario filter. It is one of 10 scenario filters on search. I said a pretty concept about these dead links to go to customer service. Wonderful. Well, I'll go ahead and look into that, but you told me, so I'll go ahead and take care of it myself. You can correct the link to this one. That goes to the category. Yeah, it was probably just an update that went when we changed over platforms to style, because we had game style and we had platform. But platform has now completely moved over to like VTT and is no longer things like how you play, which is now game style, which is like organized play, things like that. But platform used to include both, and so that's why you see that there. Okay, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, Top GM. So, Top GM, there was a few questions I saw in chat earlier, and so one was, why is someone like Charles, I'm using this because you mentioned it, why is someone like Charles get Top GM when Charles is inactive? Great question. I'm going to explain why. There's around sub 30 GMs who essentially get Top GM status, but they're technically inactive, and that's because of how we use our metrics, which is like an EMA smoothing, which is exponential moving average. So it's really hard to just say, this week you have 0, this week you have this number, this week you have 0, because then you essentially have these spikes. That's what we had originally when we launched a lot of these metrics. And mind you, I don't like the insights page either. I want to do a big redesign to it, but there's so many other important things I want to get out first. But eventually I want to do a big insight overhaul as well. So exponential moving average, what's happening here is if we don't have previous data, we're going to take the last bit of data we have and it kind of carries over. So someone like Charles, before becoming inactive, having like a really high retention rate, right? And so that retention rate was so high that continues to carry over because there's no new data to come in. When that new data comes in, that will be weighted higher than any other historical data. But since no new data has come in, it continues to take over previous data. Now, one of the big things is we don't show inactive GMs anywhere on the site. If you go to GM Search only shows GMs if they have a game listed. So we didn't really think it was too much of an issue for those sub 30 GMs to have that. But we do like the idea of relevant data being more valuable. And so we are looking at maybe changing a dynamic metric of something off of sessions run. So there's something that we're going to probably change, and we're also sitting down as a team to think about what is the implication if people are able to game the metrics. Yeah, like if people can game the metrics of Top GM, what is the worst outcome possible, and what could we do as far as guardrails? Because if that is the case, I do think it makes more sense. And it's just something we've really kind of like wrestled with, right? We don't want people to game the system, but you don't want people to be in the dark. So we're kind of like doing a trade-off conversation right now with some of the rest of the leadership. Whereas if we go ahead and remove the opaqueness and show that, let's go ahead and figure out like what those guardrails are. And so we're talking about that right now to see if we want to do that for next month's calculation. And so people would get notices like, hey, this is what you need to do to continue to be a Top GM. And just kind of making those metrics really clear. And so that's kind of conversations that were happening right now with the rest of the team. Let's see. But yeah, again, like, there's a few metrics that we make very clear, and then the others, like, they're kind of hidden, but like, it just makes it really rough if there's hidden metrics. And so we're kind of debating, like, should we just remove hidden metrics and just work with some that, are out in the open? What happens if people game these metrics, and what do we have to worry about, and like what level of gaming the metrics is too much, then we have to intervene. So I think we're just going to model that out and then make a decision. And we're going to have that decision for next month. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Okay. I mean, I think that's about it. There's not a lot of folks here today. So I think a lot of more folks had questions about Top GM that I was able to address, but I don't think a lot of them are here. So I'll have to probably address that later when we do. Maybe I'll have to do office hours again next week. Let's see. Ace has a question. Let's see. Just so you're aware, if you go to the platform portal, text play by post, and click the see more adventures, it goes to a dead link. Not a question, but you did tell me that, and I made a note that that was a bug. So I have that logged. It's going to be, yeah, absolutely. But again, like, it's just a trade-off, right? Because I also think that if you make it clear, it's going to help some people really kind of level up and like know what to shoot for. So low column A, low column B. Nina, I have had the busiest dreams for the past week. I have not had a dream where I've been just resting. I've had dreams where I'm doing stuff. And I'm waking up every day so tired because I'm working overtime in my dreams. David, I just wanted to say thank you for the changes made to People Put, which has become my bread and butter. Absolutely, I love it. Are paid GM seminars coming back soon? Yes. And maybe even more. Maybe even more. Busy dreams equals baby brain. That's funny. That might be true. I thought busy dreams were just too much Indian food, which I don't mind. Oh, God, if I could eat Indian food every night. It's always worth it. It's always worth it. Chicken vindaloo dreams is always worth it. Let's see. What else do we have? Any other questions today, team? See if I have anything else. I'm deep in my notes. Why we launched Top GM. EMA, plumbers, modeling, views. I think that's about it. Yeah. Okay. What questions we got? As Britney Spears says, you better work. So working in your dreams counts for that. Thank you, Nick. One metric that got me was the one for player joins and then plays. If I had a player join and secure a seat and then not want to play for 3 to 4 weeks, their choice is unavoidable, not possible to fix. Yeah, well, that actually comes from a modeling matrix that we did really early on, Bo. So we did this, we took about 3 years of our data and we looked at the top 30% of GMs based off of like these 40 different metrics. And we took all the metrics that we felt that could be like signs or things that move the needle. And we put these all essentially, like we modeled them all out to see like, okay, which of these things are indicators that a player is likely going to retain at a high rate. Or which of these is an indicator that like a GM is going to give someone a great experience and all these things. And so one of them was the onboarding rate. We noticed that GMs who have really high onboarding rates are also GMs that have high retention scores, GMs that have high join rates, GMs that have high tilt rates, GMs that have high, player review rates. So that's one of the biggest indicators is that. Now it is one of those things where it's like it's a little bit more rare, but it's also great for one shots. And that's kind of where it balances a lot of things out. Is if someone plays with a GM who's running a lot of one shots, and it also helps balance out the entire system from campaigns and one shots, and they go and continue to play with someone else, that benefits the one shot GMs a lot. Can we know what new player sign-up rates have been the last month or down from normal? How are we about overall retention? Retention hasn't changed. It's still completely it just annihilating. Our retention is just unheard of. But as far as signups, I mean, they're really good. I wish they were like January numbers. January's insane. Oh my gosh. I'm always sitting there like, why can't they be more? Why can't they be higher? And everyone's like, these are really high. But I mean, we're beating last year by a significant amount. Let's see. Okay. Verse 25. Let's see how. Yeah, we're being. Let's see. Let's do a quick calculation here. Oh no! There we go. There we go. Sorry, I just went to a pop-up ad on me. Let's see, what was that? So yeah, about a 32% increase over last year as far as new player signups. So that's pretty strong. I was just going to percentage calculator, so I didn't want to do long math. Let's see. Are you predicting sign-up rate will increase or decrease for the summer? I think increase. I mean, I think if I'm thinking just core site, I think increase. If I'm including kids games, I mean, I think kids games it's gonna be a banger. I think kids games are gonna explode. Because adults, we play games, but kids, they play way more games. They haven't lost the spark yet. We who play games, we still have ours, but a lot of adults, they lose their spark, unfortunately, which is always a bummer. And then thankfully there are wonderful GMs out there to help adults find that spark if they've lost it. But kids are still playing games, and so I think kids games is going to absolutely skyrocket. Let's see. Ace question: has the busy days remained the same? Monday being the worst day. Signups. I mean, yeah. I mean, but here's the thing: is like Ace, like anything, like things will shuffle slightly. Like you'll have a month where like Tuesday was the worst day, but Monday had like an outlier where it was like the third best, and then it went back down to worst. So you have to kind of just let things smooth out. For the most part, Monday's the worst day for signups, and Saturday and Sunday are the best days. And Friday and Thursday are the Friday and Thursday and Friday are the Saturday and Sunday of the weekdays, and Saturday and Sunday are the best days because they are the weekends. Does that make sense? Because like sometimes Thursday will be better than Friday, but Thursday and Friday are essentially the same. They just kind of like compete for that spot. But you essentially could just consider Thursday just second place to Friday because Friday places slightly higher more often. But you could, if you're picking between them, it's almost a nil choice. Absolutely. But that's why my advice always is like, when do you want to run your game? When do you want to run your game? Run your game whenever you want. My next game I'm playing is at 10 a.m. on a Thursday morning. Devin, the other day I was running a kids game at the store and the kid challenged me to a karaoke battle. I lost and I couldn't sing Golden Huntrix properly. Oh, they got you. You couldn't close the Hunnum whenever I have free time. Yeah, that's the and that's the interesting thing about StartPlaying. That's why StartPlaying has been successful is like it's the decision of like I'm going to someone made the allusion or the analogy in Discord today that start playing is the like, hey, this is the movie time. Start playing. You go and you choose the movie time, rather than trying to schedule something based off your interest, because that's usually where things all break down. So committing to like, I'm going to run a game at this time has become one of the best outcomes for ensuring that a game is going to happen. But you can, of course, play around with things. Start thinking about like when you would love to run a game and schedule something up for it. Try it for 2 weeks, and if you get no interest, no bites, then try another time and try it for another 2 weeks. That's kind of one of the best bets. Right now, the data that we would be collecting, it's really hard for folks to infer on that data. If we were to show you your click-through interest data, mainly impression data is very hard to diagnose if you're not a data scientist. Even if you are a data scientist, us managing impression data is a nightmare. We'd have to have, and technology is getting better. The way that a lot of AI development tools have come along has done a huge heavy lifting on what it would take to do a lot of work that 3 years ago seemed impossible. But a lot of times, like being able to exclude your IP is not a insignificant issue, right? So you looking at your own game listing we can use the browser, right? But if you are then using another device and you don't sign in, so there's a lot of problems that come with impression data and then engagement data. So finding a way to really sanitize that is a pretty hefty problem. One that can't be solved yet, but hopefully will be solved in the future. David says, question, is the best GM badge mentioned in the recent email I got actual badge for the profile? Because I never saw one, and so the email mentioned that I was at risk of losing it per the review. Yes, so it's separate from the other badges. Oh, also I can tell you about the other badges too. We have an update on them. It's kind of like a badge that is dynamic that sits on your profile. So if you go to the GM search, you can see that there's these kind of top GM badges. David, thank you for asking this. So there's this risk of losing. 80% of people that get messaged this, like, hey, you're at risk of losing this, likely will still have the badge the following month. Only about 20% of those people that get messaged will, from our modeling, will actually lose it. So what we did is we kind of modeled out like what is the chance of new people gaining a badge based off of what we've seen over the past year of data. What is the chance that the people who are warned will actually lose it, and then what is the chance that people who are warned will actually continue to keep it? So around 80% of people will continue to keep their badge if they got that warning. And that's because like most, like the grace period essentially just accounts for like, oh, you had a bad week or you got sick or things like that. To essentially like let that data smooth out. So that's why, but at the same time, we didn't want it to be a surprise. You're like, where'd my badge go? But we are going to kind of change that email because that email, reading it and reading a lot of people's feedback, it just it came off way too severe. So we're going to have that read a little bit more, I guess not nice, but kind is the word I'm going for. Let's see. Any news on if SVG will initiate an AI filter or still no go? Ace, the big problem is an AI filter will only work if everyone inputs if they are using AI or not, and the amount of input that then has to go through our team if they have to determine if something is AI or not. That's the big problem. So like, if everyone decides to go ahead and use it appropriately, it'd be great. But if not, we then have to build an AI tool to determine if things are AI and then mark things as AI, which just becomes, we then have to go and use software like Hive, which just becomes this huge expense. So that's kind of the problem. we could say things like, if you're using AI, you have to mark this. But then people could say like, this is an AI, and it's really hard to prove that something is AI. And we could just say like, well, it looks like AI. We could say like, you have to list a person. People could lie. Essentially, it's going to cause a lot of CX inbound. There's not a good solution for yet. If there becomes a good solution in the future, it's definitely something I'm going to consider. But right now, it seems to be more of a technological restriction because the limitations of humans and how many humans we have, and how many people it would actually take to go ahead and like vet that. Let's see. Does that Ace? Does that make sense? Kind of like it's not that like I don't want to give you that filter. It's just like the limitations of technology and human power are kind of where I'm constrained at that. Rodrigo, are our stats negatively affected if we try to recruit for a game we have one paying player, but after a month we give up and delete the game to try a new one? I mean, it depends. If that's the only game you have, yeah, that affects it. You know, if that player continues playing with you in a different game, no, not really. Yeah, everything can affect your stats in some way or another. But like, you know, for example, Rodrigo, I think you have like, what, 7 games? How many games do you have? Nia says, what instead of AI, we put a human artist filter? Or is that the same problem? Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, like, anyone can say, like, this was made by a human artist. And then people say, that wasn't made by a human artist. Like, for example, we have purchased a bunch of art from Shutterstock. Shutterstock, when we have purchased it, we have said, we want to make sure that all the art that we are getting from you is non-AI generated. And it's like, cool, this is all non-AI generated. And then a bunch of people are like, this is definitely AI generated. I'm like, well, Shutterstock said it was not. And Shutterstock's like, oh, our bad, this was AI generated apparently. We didn't know. And like, someone went closer, like, oh, I think it's because of this, this, and this. So that's the problem it creates, right? Ace, what I'm saying is the ability to report, like that, the report, you're creating this strain on our customer team that we only have so many people. So we'd essentially have to hire, like we've kind of modeled this out from what we've seen other teams that had to deal with this. We'd have to hire a significant amount of more customer people that are to be able to handle just this problem. And that's the problem. We'd have to have people dedicated to just one thing. And that's a frustrating thing. Okay, cool. So, Rod, if you were starting 7 games, that really wouldn't affect your metrics in a really sizable way, because you're running so many games. I would say if you were running just 1 or 2 games, it would probably it would sway a lot more. But because you're running so many, that's pretty nominal effect on your data. Wait, oh my gosh. Oh, Discord is finally updated. It's starting. There we go. Oh, it happened. Yeah, so here we go. So yeah, for the most part, like the more data you have, the more games you're running, the less impact that has on it. That's what I'm trying to communicate with you. So that one game that you're canceling, that's a pretty nominal effect on your overall metrics because you're running so many games. If you have 5 games and 1 game cancels, that's not really going to affect your metrics that much because you're running 5 games. Okay, let's see. But Ace, to go back to your question, Ace, it's not something that I am opposed to. It's something that is, I realize is a problem. I want to find a solve, but I need to find a solve that's sustainable, that solves the problem in a non-patchwork way. And so that is what I'm continuing to think about. And as technology, as options, as more stuff comes along, I'm going to continue like thinking towards that. So keep that in mind. That is definitely like not something I'm ignoring. It is something I want to find a solution towards, because as the world gets as more AI comes into the world, everyone's going to want some kind of filter like that. I mean, I don't use Pinterest anymore because of it. But it's also like sometimes you're going to see companies like Pinterest or companies like YouTube come up with solutions for this that you can then copy. And then they take a bulk of the heavy work, which is nice. Okay. Gosh. Now that office hours is back up, that's so funny. Like, should I ping everyone? Should we like? Okay. We'll do this because we're already here. I'm gonna ping the Discord and be like, office hours is still live for the next. Next 20 if you want to join. Hey everyone, I'll go ahead and just post this anyway because I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to have questions. All right, there we go. I also got to answer the questions from Anonymous. Okay, here we go. Or from folks that okay. Jonathan asks, I want to book bounty board games from Mothership and Traveler, but those systems don't have landing pages, so I can't. What can we do to ask for game systems to get system page upgrade? Jonathan, here's my answer to you. Those games will be getting landing pages eventually. There is a list that we have a landing page designer who is, our landing page editor who is going through, and he's going through a list. And that list is based off of, what's popular. So we're looking at play data, and then that list is organized in play data, and essentially they're doing like 1 to 3 a week. So those are continually being added. So Traveler, Mothership will end up there. I'm actually surprised Mothership hasn't getting done yet, but it will. It'll eventually be there. Let's see. Has Monty Cook reached out to SBG about Cypher 2 release? Some GMs have emailed them as of lately, and I've gotten a response for them to contact SBG, so I gave them Sarah's contact per Sarah's instruction. But since we have only been wondering if there's been anything in the works, I'm too excited for Cypher 2 to drop, so I would love to know if there's something going on. No need to spoil anything, just is there something? Has contact been established? Contact has been established. I will tell you that. Contact has absolutely been established. Okay. Let's get to your questions in chat. Team. Oh, it does. Familiar. I didn't know they had one yet. Dream Slavery. Okay, yeah. We're a 12-person team, so yeah, it'd be great if we can get to like 100-person size. That makes sense to have someone dedicated to that. But we have to get pretty. It'd be a pretty big company to have a role dedicated to just that. Have you guys noticed the list of bounty board games that come in for like starter set are like so varied? So many indie games are coming in for that. I love it. Shock Games. I know you've shared before, but could you review how to get access to the bounty board again, or the criteria a GM has to meet to view? So we talked about this earlier. We are right now wrestling with the implications of exposing the metrics that you need to achieve to become a top GM on the platform. We're gaming that out. We're doing a model to see what happens if we do, what metrics that we might decide to change if we do make those, if we do expose those. We're going to be discussing this next week. We have a company on site with the rest of the leadership team. So we'll be doing that. And if we end up deciding to make public that pathway, then we'll have that whole FAQ about how to get access to the bounty board and how to get access to Top GM. But right now, it's still opaque. One of the big things we say is just run great games. Run games often, run great games that your players keep on coming back to. And be intentful about the games you run is some of the best advice I can, and that'll get you to top GM badge. But I can't say more until we kind of make a decision about how we want to move forward with this. Someone beat the Avatar game, I know, yeah. Aegis, man, I was telling Nina earlier, I have been working in my dreams all day this week. Every night I've been a graveyard shift every night. It's brutal. I was cleaning a computer one night and I had to get all the dust out of it, and the dust just kept going. The other night I was wrapping packages. Just every night there's just so much work in my dreams. I don't know why. Oh my gosh, I don't know what that means. Someone said it means baby brain. But I've had very exhausting dreams lately. But I appreciate it. Maybe it's because I've only had 2 cups of coffee today, too. Yes, Shock Games. Right now, just top GMs get access to the bounty board. Only 2. Abid George 6188. He's talking about game 1 template used for adventures for multiple systems. Currently, we need a D&D version and a Daggerheart version for the same adventure approved. I don't think so. We're going to continue to essentially have, if you want a Daggerheart adventure, you got to make a template for that. If you want a D&D adventure, you need a template for that. That's kind of the core of how those templates were designed. Nina, Devin, I want to translate Intercom FAQs to Spanish. Is that something you'd be interested in? I'm not sure. I don't have an answer for you on that one. Maybe. That's honestly not my department. That would be Gab. Gab is in charge of all customer stuff. And so you'd have to ask her. I can't talk. I can't speak for Gab. I can't step on her toes. But maybe. We'll see what Gab wants to do when we move into doing our event later this year. That is a Spanish-speaking event. And she might find that really valuable. And if so, I'll tell her to reach out to you. And you're more than welcome to go ahead and email her and say, like, hey, I would be interested in doing this when you go to pull the trigger. But that's absolutely her department. I'm trying to be like very less. I try to give way more autonomy than every month. Give more autonomy to the rest of the team. Let's see. Is there a way to see badges you haven't unlocked yet? No, but there is, I believe, an FAQ that shows badges, all the different badges that there are. Yeah, you absolutely can email Gab, or you can go through support and they'll get it to Gab as well, or you can email her directly, of course. Dungeon Master Josh, there is currently, I think, an FAQ that tells you there's a bunch of badges that we do not tell you about that are not in the FAQ, but there are some badges in the FAQ that we do tell you about. Let's see. Devin is in here inspiring me to do my beard care regime. Thank you. Let's rag, son. Let's rag, son. I don't think that's how your name is supposed to be said. No, Lester Ragson. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm always bad at reading names. Does getting reviews verified make the site more supportive of GMs in the algorithm? I ask because not all of my players are verified, since some of them played for free before joining SPG. Lester Ragson, that's what I'm going to call you. Can you tell me what do you mean by supportive in the algorithm? And then I can answer that question. Chris Hodge, how are you? Is life treating you well? Is there anything we can do to show our appreciation? You all amazing. I'm doing great. Outside of having a whole week of working in my dream, like weird work dreams, like packages and cleaning dust out of computers, I'm great. Baby's good. Getting ready for Mother's Day. Yeah, I think everything's fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris, for the appreciation. Lester Agson, if you're wondering, does having a verified badge make you show up, or having verified reviews make you show up more in game search or GM search? It doesn't. Having verified reviews do make you seem like do give you more social proof that make you more likely to get booked by people who see your games and your GM profile. So that is the benefit of having those reviews. You said, I meant I am more likely to get booked. Yes, oh, great. Yeah, essentially what we've seen is, let's see, this works. Okay. Boop, boop. I like this, right? So it's around 30. Once you get around 30 reviews, that's about the point where it plateaus as far as the value. I just want to get the whiteboard. Oop. Okay. Let's see. Again, if you have any questions, just type them here. We've gone through everything today. We covered a lot. We talked about player bounties. We talked about new merch. We talked about kids games. We talked about player-driven bounties. We talked about starter set inserts into retail brick and mortars. We talked about Cypher 2. We talked about Top GM. So this is now your time, Game Masters. I'm here to answer any questions you have. If you do have a question, just type question in all caps, and then whatever your question is, and I'll go ahead and answer your question. Any upcoming event collabs, like Daggerheart, you can talk about. There is a Daggerheart event coming up. If you were in the Discord, you can see that there was one we had just posted about. I would definitely recommend, if you're participating in that or you have any Daggerheart games, get them up now. Get some Daggerheart games going because they're going to be promoting that. So that's exciting. We have some stuff with Paizo, some Starfinder and Pathfinder stuff at the end of this month. And then hopefully doing some stuff with Invincible, Dungeon Crawler Carl, Mistborn, are all kind of stuff hopefully in the works, and Cypher 2. Of course, Lester Ajon. How do I say your name? Okay, let's see. Any other questions? My list of systems to learn is so big. Yeah, same. I'm very excited to be learning Triangle Agency next week. Just call me Les. That's what my players do. Excellent. Question, did I just hear Dungeon Crawler Carl collab, Devin? That's right, you did. I just got off the line with Mordecai, and we got a good deal going on with Zeb. It's going to be happening. Dungeon Crawler Carl collab. Very, very excited. We'll be working with Renegade Games. They've announced it on their backer kit, so we'll be working with them. Okay. Question, is there any way to give reviews from people who have many sessions with you more weight? At this time, people with 50 one-shots look better than a DM with 4 to 5 players. I mean, it does have more weight, right? They are the ones that are shown first. So when people look at your profile, they see people who have played with you most first. That's how we actually kind of provide that weight. But we don't weight stars in a different way. All stars are kind of weighted the same. We have thought about weighting it over time, but then it gets into, when you look at how the stars are dispersed, there's no reason to. Adding a different weighting system doesn't change the outcome almost at all. But presenting the star reviews changes things a lot. That's why we actually did that in the first place. We did a test where we showed how it was, which is just like the newest review, and then we did a test where we showed the highest reviewed, and that obviously made the biggest impact. Is there any way to dispute a review? I had a player leave a negative review for a missing session. I talked to them after, and we patched things up, but they don't seem to be active there anymore. Well, if you reach out to them, they can, of course, remove the review. A player can, at any time, reach out to support to remove a review. But unless the review breaks terms of service or code of conduct or anything from the review guidelines, then there's nothing to dispute in it. You can, of course, reach out to support. But what I would say is, like, if you and the player patch it up, just say, like, hey, can we get on an email? Can I reach out to support? Can you go ahead and just verify this? And if you guys patched it up, I don't see any problem why you couldn't do that. Just reach out to support. Question, where can I learn more about the Paizo one? I didn't see anything on the Discord. That will be going out, I think Sarah will be posting something about it. But you don't have to select an event. You just have to run a Pathfinder or a Starfinder game, I think starting May 22nd. They're just going to be promoting it on their side. They're going to be saying, hey, go to StartPlaying, find a new game. And it's really just going to be a push for Starfinder. But of course, they're going to be like, also go find Pathfinder games too. So it's just kind of like a little marketing push, not event-based. David says, question, I'm an indie game designer and I'm wondering if there's a submission process to get a new game system onto the site. If it's self-published to be public in the near future, it's just it's got to be published. And if it's self-published, that's fine. It's got to be published. It's got to have a link to where it can be purchased, and then it can be added. SG Thermometer, is there a way to set different prices for different games? Yes. Sorry, I'm wondering, is there a way to set different prices for different? Yeah, of course. Yeah, when you create an adventure, you can choose the price that you want to. In the edit adventure page, you can choose what price you want for those games. Adam asks a question, not actually a question. No, I'm just kidding. Just wanted to shout out the majestic looking beard. It's been a while since I caught a live office hours. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Beast Foundry. Is there a way you guys could set up something that if a player in your game leaves a review, they then get a discount on their next game? This would be something a GM could turn on. Beast Foundry. That's actually brings up a fantastic thing I would love to discuss. Loyalty programs and don't work. And this is a type of loyalty. The thing that and here's the thing, you can do this, right? You can give a player a discount. You essentially have to do 2 more clicks than 1 click. So if we design something like this, you'd have to go and you have to choose what the discount is, and then you have to go and apply. This kind of exists already. You can go and you can change the price for a player to be maybe $10, and then after it happens, go and change it back to whatever their sign-up price is. So you have the ability to do this currently. But there's been so many tests around loyalty programs, and it turns out they are not profitable. Loyalty programs don't make people more loyal. The people who are going to be loyal are going to be just as loyal as they are, and these programs don't incentivize higher loyalty. So the people who are going to review you are always going to review you. The people who are not aren't often going to be incentivized to do it. You could get them to do it sooner, but the people who are going to do an action are likely going to always do that action. And incentivizing them is more just giving away something that people would have already done. There's this kind of Harvard business review, I think, around this, and that's where I remember coming from this. It was amazing. It was very eye-opening, but a lot of these times, like the sandwich thing, get 12 sandwiches, isn't actually driving more loyalty. It's just providing a 13th sandwich, which sometimes is like, hey, I just want to give people a 13th because I like my customer. That's completely okay. But you have the ability to do this by editing the player's price. You say, hey, if you give a review, I'll go ahead and, if you give a review but you can't solicit, actually, I need to make sure that, I think it's if you solicit, you can't solicit like the quality of the review, you can give a discount. But you should check the review guidelines on our intercom to make sure that you can say like, hey, I'll give you a discount if you review me. But if you say, if you give me a 5-star review, that's when you get into tricky territory. I'm pretty sure that's what our review guidelines say. You should check our intercom to make sure that that incentive does not break those guidelines. I don't know them off the top of my head though, so I would double check with that. Okay. I have one player that pays for a group in a campaign. Is there any way to get them all to be able to leave a review? Would it be verified or not? Evil Penguin, it would not be verified because we don't know any of those people and we don't know if they've actually paid. So they would actually all have to join themselves and they would have to pay themselves to get them to be verified, to get verified reviews. Let's see. Question: is there a push for draw steal games at some point? Fulwork, I would love to do another push. If the MCDM team is ready to do another campaign, I'm ready. I think they are busy with their latest crowdfund, but when they're ready to jump back on, I am as well. Yeah, and I love how the questions always come at the end too. Let's see. What other questions we got, team? Let's see. Give it another 8 minutes. We got no more questions. We'll just call from there. There's like 5 things that we're working on that I'm really excited to share with you. I just can't yet. So that's cool. I'm just waiting for those to finally come to fruition. Oh, thank you, Evil Penguin. I appreciate that. That's really sweet. When we end here, a lot of you have been asking about the music that we play. The album is launching in June, which is really exciting. And there's a new song. And the new song will be played at the end of this office hours. Is there some seminars for GMs upcoming? It would be good to have some discussion on pricing tactics, how to request reviews in a good way. Falric, best way to ask for reviews is early and often. But yeah, there's going to be some new seminars. In fact, we're talking about in June, end of June, launching a, not as much seminars, but we're testing out a potential new vertical. Having a week of events called Dungeon Masterclass. And Dungeon Masterclass is the idea that if you are a game master, a dungeon master, a keeper, a storyteller, a referee, you have something that you can teach to others who want to be a game master, dungeon master, a referee, a keeper, a storyteller. Being able to set up a one-shot campaign or something to be able to teach those things, whether it be improv, whether it be character design, whether it be an encounter design, whether it be voices, whether it be like how to use Roll20, how to use Foundry. We think there's a lot of value that could be offered from a pro GM to, for a lack of a better word, an amateur GM. Someone who's like, hey, I run games for my friends, but I just want to be the best GM possible. Because the thing is, there's all of these, there's so much content on YouTube. There's so much content out there where people are always wanting to become better GMs. And I think about this hunger for it where people they write in like, hey, can I hire a GM to teach me to be a better GM? Of course you could. But I believe it makes me think that there's a really good place for stronger workshops where not only other pro GMs can learn from other pro GMs, but GMs who are not considered pros, they're not running games they're not running games on StartPlaying, but they're running games for their friends where they can level up. Or people who are like, hey, I want to run games for my friends, I'm just not there yet. I would love to get better at that, and they can learn from a pro GM, and then they can go run a game for their friends. I think those are all great things. So that's something we're hoping to explore in June. And we're hoping to not only service the pro GM community at StartPlaying with more content that kind of all helps each other, but also helping people who want to become GMs learn fantastic skills. Dungeon Master Josh, have you had time to be a player in games lately? Got to keep things fun. Dungeon Master Josh, yes, we have a was it bi-weekly, monthly? We have a monthly company game, and then I have a weekly game that I run, so I'm not a player in that. But we have a monthly game where I'm a player, and then next week I'm learning Triangle Agency with GM Keenan. Yes, on StartPlaying, I booked through the Learn to Play flow bounty board, learning Triangle Agency. Really excited because I'm going to run it. That's the new campaign I want to run for my Sunday group. But I don't know how to run it, so I got to be a player first. Which is great because I was like, how am I going to learn this? Oh no, it's not like I have a place where I can learn how to run games. Ace, I can't find the link where you can give people $10 discount. Did that get phased out? It is, just go and click on your profile photo and it says credit balance 50, it says credit balance, click on credit balance, it says copy referral link. That's where you'll find that. Question, how's the team doing? Still terribly overworked? Send many hugs to Sarah, Hunter, and Gabby, fellow Nina. I mean, we're building kids games, but you know, like I wouldn't say that we're terribly overworked. I mean, we are barreling down on kids games, and hopefully have the beginnings ready to launch by the end of June to start accepting applications for GMs who want to become kids games. And here's a big thing. I actually do want to communicate this. You might be a fantastic GM and you might apply to kids games. You might end up on the wait list. We're not going to accept every GM right off the bat. And I want to be really upfront with this. And I think a lot of you know this. Like I've always been, as StartPlaying, we have a history of being pretty transparent. Not many companies have bi-weekly live streams, have Discords where the company is chatting with people. One of the things that we are going to be doing is we're going to essentially make sure that we can find product market fit or aka traction with kids games before we do a broader launch, right? So we want to make sure that this is going to be successful before we just like open up the gates. So we're going to be essentially launching with probably around 100 GMs. You might be a GM who's on the platform who applies and you're like, why did I not get fast tracked in? And it might be because you might be running 12, 14 games right now. We are probably going to be optimizing for GMs who can run 2 to 3 kids games at least, because we need to make sure we can get traction with every GM that we bring in. If you're like, I just want to be able to maybe run kids games, we might keep you on the wait list until after we know that we found traction and start opening up into GMs. Because, like I said, every GM that we let in cost us $200 in background checks. So we have to be very, almost $200 in background. So we have to be very like cautious about that very initial run. So just FYI. Are you still planning on doing another one of those GM courses like from a few years back? I'm actually Van Gogh ASMR. We're actually hoping to find some creators in the space to start kind of doing that as we create, as we maybe hopefully explore a vertical of workshops where people can do that. Like, hey, do you want to learn how to be, how to do this and kind of serve inside the space? Dungeon Master Josh, not Game Master class. No, because the idea of Dungeon Master, just it's in Master class. It's the pun is there. Let's see. Question: didn't you mention something involving selling artwork on SPG along those lines? Yeah, it's just that's kind of not a blue sky idea, but like something I would love to do. But it's definitely not like a core primary focus, especially when we have things like in-person gaming and kids gaming that we need to focus on. That's another vertical, but it's definitely not a vertical that we can focus on right now with like kids games and in-person games. Is work that still needs to be focused on. Farooq, question: do you have data on how people who run games full-time set their games? How many games they are able to run per day, and how the divide between one-shots and campaigns? Most people who run games full-time, almost all campaigns, the most times when they're running one-shots is because someone or a few people are not going to be able to run, not be able to play in those campaigns, and so they run a one-shot in place of that campaign that day. And usually it's around 1 to 2 sessions a day. GM Ginger Jams, it depends. Our lawyers are kind of doing the assessment of what background checks. The thing is, like, there's certain levels of background checks that we're doing. There's like the standard one, and there's state, federal, criminal. We essentially took like all 12 things, and we're doing the expanded version because, like I said, we want to be very, very good stewards for kids games. So we wanted to be as thorough as possible. So that's why we decided to go to the intense degree with our background checks rather than the bare minimum. So if your background check encompasses all those things and passes kind of what our lawyers have kind of deemed as appropriate, then yes, we will. Besides the players being kids, what makes kids games different? Any specific system platforms we need to use? So Dungeon Master Josh, great question. When we're starting off, it's going to be just D&D, and then it's going to be expanding to other systems as we find product market fit or traction. And then we'll essentially add systems that are appropriate for kids. Based off kind of like what our educational advisors and kids advisors have kind of come up with. Also, kids games, they're recorded, and then those recordings are stored for a certain amount of time. So if something does happen, we can go back and look at those and know like, okay, this kid did this GM did this. Essentially, it's a safety precaution, a compliance precaution. That right there is expensive. Anywhere from $15 to $30 to $45 a session is what that costs us in tech. So what that's going to do is it's going to also require, and we're looking in to make sure that this is feasible and we can do this, that if when you sign up for a kids game campaign, you're essentially signing up for all sessions. If you can't make a session, you're still going to be charged for that session, and which is pretty common in most kids programs like summer camp or music class. If you're not going to make it, you don't get that session back. You are still charged for it. So if a GM have 4 kids in their campaign and 1 kid is missing, they're still going to get paid for all 4 for that session. And so we're probably going to also have to adjust the take rate for kids games to accommodate for the background checks and for all of the tech costs of recording and storage. But with the added fact that we're going to also have a minimum charge of $25, and if you can't make it, you're still going to be charged to be in the game or to be in the campaign. We're hoping that those kind of things are going to make up a lot for it. Alongside, we have some guidelines on like how long games should be. So, for example, for certain age bands, we have recommendations like your game shouldn't be any longer than this. For most games and a lot of the kids, like it shouldn't be longer than 2 hours. So we're hoping for a lot of this, we find ways that we can make these really profitable for GMs. Okay. Dream Sleeper, I'd say have the GM for the background check bill. When people put money into something, they're devoted to it. Dream Sleeper, we have absolutely thought of that. The idea is though that up to something $200 is a lot for a lot of people. We want to make this accessible, so we're trying to figure out how much we will subsidize and how much we'll ask the GM to pay as a level of friction. So maybe the GM has to pay $50, we pay the other amount. And so the GMs who end up not participating, they kind of cover that difference. And then maybe, let's say, after 10 sessions, that GM has run 10 sessions on the platform, maybe then we'll go ahead and refund you your background check. Because like, oh, cool, you're actually going to run games on the platform, you're invested. We'll go ahead and refund that to you. So we're kind of modeling that out as well. Does that mean only US-based GMs? Van Gogh ASMR, I don't have an answer on that for right now. So only for us GMs, how will you handle international GMs for kids games? I don't have an answer for right now. Mythic Veil Chronicles. So only for us, only for US GMs, or how will you handle? Oh, for US, not us GMs. Question is currently running 7 campaigns and 2 of them are kids and parents. Should I must go through the process of an official kids games? Not for the ones you're currently running. No, not at all. For future ones coming from the kids games platform, yes. But if you, especially because these are kids and parents are in them, completely fine. Question: is there a way to pause a campaign? Unsure what happens if a campaign doesn't have a session for a period of time. No, you just don't schedule a session. They're going to be a filter showing specifically. Are you going to add a filter allowing searching for specifically free games? No, we added one in a test, and it wasn't, didn't really move the needle much. People who got in free games didn't end up booking in paid games at a higher rate. So we probably won't be adding that, the ability to filter for that. Games are recorded, does that mean the game has to be run on a specific Discord server? You cannot use Discord. You will have to use Zoom. So we have, part of it is like we have this whole Zoom Enterprise solution where when you schedule a game, it creates a Zoom room and then you get that link to it. It's created like 15 minutes before the game happens, shows up to you, the GM, because you're the GM and it has your email, you're able to log in. There's a lot of other stuff that will come through that I'll talk to more lately, but it'll all be through Zoom because Zoom is also COPA compliant, which is a requirement for kids games. Also, though, I believe, I have to double check with lawyers, if you are running kids games, you have to be camera on. The GM has to be camera on. Kids have to be camera on at the beginning and then they can be camera off later. But I believe the host has to be camera on the entire time. I have to double check with lawyers, but yeah, and there's going to be this whole like doc of like expectations and things you need to know, and there'll be a whole separate onboarding for kids GMs, but those are some of the requirements. Okay, team. I think we did it. Oh my gosh, what a day! What a day! We've been here for an hour and 42 minutes. I think I answered. I think I've answered everyone's questions. So we got 2 more minutes. At 2:40, we're going to call it, and I will let you all get back to your wonderful Friday, and I'll let you have a fantastic weekend. Dungeon Master Josh, that will be in an FAQ document, so that'll be in our help docs. So that'll be available well before applying. Favorite dinosaur? What's it called? Let me make sure I have the right name. No, there. Ankylosaurus. Yeah, that's my favorite. Probably butchered the pronunciation on that. Awesome, love it, Nina. Okay, team. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you go with our brand new song, "Wizard," and I will. Also, if you're gonna be at Gen Con, we will keep your Thursday night open. But otherwise, I will see you all on the Discord. Have a great night, team, and I'll talk to you soon.